Big shout out to Ed Brown for suggesting this video. Vern Gosdin was born August 5th, 1934, and was an American country music singer. He had 19 top 10 solo hits on the country music charts from 1977 through 1990. 3 of these hits went to number 1. I Can Tell by the Way You Dance, You're Gonna Love Me Tonight, Set 'Em Up Joe, and I'm Still Crazy. As the sixth child in a family of 9, Vern Gosdin began singing in Bethel East Baptist Church in his birthplace of Woodland, Alabama, where his mother played piano. Gosdin and 2 brothers sang gospel on Birmingham radio station WVOK. Gosdin later moved to Chicago, Illinois, where he operated the D&G tab. He idolized the Louvin brothers and the Blue Sky Boys. Now in 1961, Gosdin moved to California, where he joined the West Coast country music movement, first as a member of the Golden State Boys, and included Chris Hillman. Gosdin then formed the Gosdin Brothers with brother Rex. The duo appeared on the charts in the late 1960s on the Bakersfield International label. Then, they sang the song Till the End on Capitol Records. During the same time period, the Gosdin brothers were featured on Hillman's former Bird's mate Gene Clark's first solo album, the 1967 well-regarded Gene Clark, with the Gosdin brothers singing backing vocals on all the tracks behind the lead vocals of Clark and lead guitarists of Clarence White, Glenn Campbell, and Bill Reinhardt, later of the Merry-Go-Round. Gosdin retired from performing during the 1970s and moved to Cartersville, Georgia, where he operated a glass company. In 1976, he signed with Elektra Records, and his first hit was a remake of Hanging On, which featured Emmylou Harris on harmony vocals and peaked at number 16. His next single, Yesterday's Gone, which also featured Harris, became his first top 10 hit in 1977. Several more hits followed between 77 and 79, with the biggest of these hits being a remake of Till the End and a cover of the Association's Never My Love, which also featured harmony vocals from Janie Fricke. In 1981, Gosdin signed with Ovation Records and scored a top 10 hit with Dream of Me. After Ovation Records closed their doors later in 1981, Gosdin signed with AMI Records, where he scored a top 10 hit in 1982 with Today My World Slipped Away. This song later became a number 3 hit for George Strait. First released by Gosdin in 1983, Tennessee Courage was written by Lewis Brown, Gosdin, and Max D. Barnes. The song would also be recorded by Keith Whitley and many others over the years, and is considered a favorite among fans of traditional country music. Barnes and Brown were both notable Nashville songwriters, each with hundreds of songwriting credits. Barnes would eventually win over 42 songwriting awards in his career. Brown would go on to write as a staff writer for Tree Publishing and Stony Lonesome Music Publishing, both headquartered on Music Row in Nashville. Gosdin, meanwhile, signed with Complete Records in the early 1980s, and in 1984 released There Is a Season, picked by the Los Angeles Times as the best country album of the year. The early 1980s also found a great combination of talent as Gosdin traveled from coast to coast, opening shows for George Jones between 1983 and 1985. Gosdin made the top 10 consistently in the early 1980s, really hitting his stride when he teamed with Barnes as a songwriting collaborator. Now, the pair specialized in songs of cheating and barroom romance, often delivering an over-the-top emotionalism that got Gosdin compared to George Jones. In 1983, Gosdin had 2 top 5 hits, If You're Gonna Do Me Wrong, Do It Right, and Way Down Deep, with the former earning him a nomination for the Grammy Award for Best Country Vocal Performance Male. The following year, he had his first #1 single with I Can Tell by the Way You Dance, You're Gonna Love Me Tonight, which had previously been recorded by Gary Morris. On September 22, 1985, Gosdin appeared at the original Farm Aid concert at the University of Illinois Memorial Stadium. After Complete Records went bankrupt, Gosdin signed with Columbia in 1987. He immediately had success with Do You Believe Me Now and scored another #1 hit with a tribute to Ernest Tubb called Set 'Em Up Joe. Gosdin's Chiseled in Stone, co-written with Barnes, won the Country Music Association's Song of the Year Award in 1989 and earned them a nomination for the Grammy Award for Best Country Song. Gosdin's 1989 album Alone was a concept album in a traditional country style. It chronicled the dissolution of Gosdin's marriage and included his final #1 hit, I'm Still Crazy. From 1989 to 1991, he released a number of songs, and 3 more made the Billboard Top 10. Ride in the Wrong Direction, That Just About Does It, and Is It Raining at Your House? Raining has been covered by Brad Paisley and Lori Morgan, and That Just About Does It by Willie Nelson. Gosdin suffered a stroke in 1998, but he continued writing and singing up until his death. In 2009, Gosdin collaborated with Joe Sins of the country music duo The Sins to write and record his final 4 songs. Gosdin, who suffered a stroke in early April, died at a Nashville hospital the evening of April 28, 2009, at the age of 74. His remains were buried at Mount Olivet Cemetery in Nashville, Tennessee.